I've seen Peter's show several times, and when it started out, I was going, "Well, they're going to base it on the show," but you didn't do that. You felt there's so much information in there. The archival clips are just incredible because of the stuff you have. How did you decide to go? Because you really fleshed out his life so much. There is so much there that isn't in the show, and people who have seen the show are going to get so much more. They're going to learn so much more information about him. Plus, you have the Gordon Waller interview at the end, which is really incredible. Plus, you have appearances by James Taylor, Paul McCartney's voice is in there. And those quotes especially got me because when he's talking about Jane Asher, I've never heard him say that personal stuff about Jane Asher. And so that's really interesting. You talked to Linda, you talked to James Taylor, you talked to Chris O'Dell, and that actually was connected to what she was doing because she was also doing a documentary at the time.
Or would we that night when Dan came to see the show for the first time, and I was kind of in the second round of seeing it, we both when Dan looked at me and said, "You're absolutely correct. This is a documentary in the making." Both of us said, "Wouldn't it be fun to try to like use it as the backbone of the story, but then really flesh it out by going and talking to the people that Peter talks about?" And because we knew from the beginning that, he'd been in the limelight from the moment he was a child star, right? With Claudette Colbert, we knew there was going to be archival material. We didn't know how rich it was going to actually be. If you saw our documentary about Leonard Cohen, that's also an archivally based film. And I think one of the most fun things about these sorts of films is doing that archival search.
In fact, we were down in LA around some awards campaign things for the Hallelujah Leonard Cohen movie and met up with David Jacks. And this is before we began filming with Peter, but we knew we were going to do the movie. And David had written a book that he spent 20 years researching called Peter Asher, A Life in Music. And so not only did we hit it off with David enough to say, hey, let's bring you on if you're willing to help us out and actually get rights to his book, because he had done so much incredible research. And in some ways, he filled in a lot of the gaps that we would not have known about otherwise. But it really was like fertile ground for us.